Watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have a piece from new brand Biotic, based out of Southeast Asia, and they have really quite an interesting brief, which is that they are having designs inspired by nature but built to last, so functional and tough watches. This is a very practical case with pockets here, so practical in fact that I am not 100% sure whether this will be the actual case on the production models, but a few pockets here for a watch. The spare links are there and the watch itself is in here. This is a prototype that I won't be able to keep, so there's no manuals or anything else that has been included, which is fine. So guys, this is the launch piece. This is the Biotic Formicidae. Now Formicidae is, I think, the genus for ants, so this is inspired by the organic structure and anatomy of ants, at least in some ways. There are inspirations that has been taken from nature's little workers. The full MSRP will be $599 USD, but Kickstarter price will be $399, which is really probably where the discussion of this piece will be. Now this is of course the fire red version, so kind of very rich dark red there. It does come in brown, black and green versions as well, so take a look at the Kickstarter pages and links that I will provide for more information, if you will. Okay guys, as always, first up is talking about the movement, which is the 9015. Stats down the left of the screen, not going to read this out. The quick set date in this case is implemented on the 6 o'clock position. So they've swapped out the dial, and the good news is they actually also have date loom. The numbers on the date will be loomed, which is a nice touch because I think I've rarely ever seen that being loomed, so that's good on them for doing that. The actual accuracy or the actual running speed here is plus 5 seconds per day in the week that I have run this. So out of the box for this prototype is pretty good. Right, okay, let's talk about the case design here. So it's a 40mm case, so between roughly these two positions here, it is 40mm. The bezel is, hopefully you can see, is narrower than the case itself. So if you've just measured the bezel there, it's 38mm. Thickness is pretty good at just under 12. It's 11.8mm on thickness to the top of that flat sapphire, 20mm lugs, and it is drilled lugs. Right, nice touch there. It is quick release here, but look, if you're going to swap it out, I always appreciate that there are drilled lugs. Lug to lug distance between my thumbs of 47mm, and overall weight is pretty substantial even with some links removed. This is measuring at 152 grams, which you definitely feel. You're not going to forget that on your wrist here, at least I don't. Finishing wise, right, matte blasted bezel, matte blasted sides as well as bottom, so very nicely done. It does have longitudinal brushing on the tops of the lugs there. The display back is circular brushed, right, with a kind of it's not really a display back. I say display back because there is a piece of glass in the middle there, which is sapphire, but hopefully you can see that it's not that easy to see. But there's an ant artwork there, which is an ant as a navigator there, right, screw down display back, screw down double crown here for a water resistance rating of 200 meters. So very, very tough and functional for sure. There is some signage on both the crowns that you can see there. Okay, moving on to the dial now. So guys, what we have here is a sunburst dark red fume dial. It's convex in contour, so nice convex. It's kind of an organic callback there, I suppose, to animals or even an eye. It's got printed details on the dial here. It's got a chapter ring on the periphery with recessed compass points. You can see the compass points, 12, 3, 6 whatsoever, does recess into the middle of the, the convex bit there. It's got an inner rotating compass bezel, and it's got hands which are brushed finish, right? Simple baton hands, and an arrow for the seconds, all radium for the loom, and BGW9 on all the usual spots. And nice touch that they put some BGW9 in some of the bezel numerals that you can see there. And of course, a lume shot for you guys to see how it glows in the dark right here. Okay, so before I move on, I just want to show you the action of this. So you do unscrew it, and then it is pretty loose, right? This compass type of bezel. So I guess if you want to, specifically locate the spot and lock it in, and you can look up my Seiko, compass watch that to kind of learn about how you can use this as a compass. But you got to be careful, lock it in, and then choose your position and lock it in, then you can. But if you want to put it back to 12, it does take a little bit of fiddling, right? Catch it there and then push it in. Even then I'm struggling, you can see there. So that can be a bit of gripe if you are very picky on your 12 o'clock position. I'm not going to bother putting it exactly back because it does take a little bit of attention. Moving on to the crystal, I've said before, it is a flat sapphire crystal. There is some AR. I assume that the production model will have better AR than this one because this does catch quite a bit of reflection. Bracelet wise, okay, so this is an H-link bracelet. It's got matte centers with brush H's, right? So nicely matte, actually. I quite like the way that they've done those matte finishing there. It's got solid end links with quick release bars, you can see there. And screw adjust, so hopefully I can show you if you can see that. It's actually screw adjustment for the bracelet links here, which is a nice touch. It does taper to 18 millimeters from the 20 near the case and a 21 millimeter wide machined push button release clasp and 5-point micro adjust ratchet, which is a nice thing. So just show it to you guys there. So you can pull it out. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-point ratchet. So we're nice little touch, and I like that they've actually included that in, and that's how it looks like. Okay, so there you go, guys. That's the entire description. Gonna snap it on the watch for a wrist shot now. Sorry, I have been burnt quite badly on my trip to Duran Bay, but there we have it. That's what you get on beach mission. Okay, so there we have it, guys. The watch on my 17 centimeter wrist. So remember, 40 millimeter case, 47 millimeter lug to lug distance, and just under 12 millimeter on thickness. And that's how it looks like on that H-link bracelet. Not bad at all, I reckon. Okay, so that's it, guys. The description. What have I liked about this watch? Right, look, I think it's an interesting design brief. This bionic or biotic type of organic inspired design. Functional, definitely functional watch with that compass bezel. If that is something that you're interested in, if you go hiking or whatever, let me know if you do find compass bezels useful. Personally, it's probably not my thing, but I can see where there may be a room or a niche for that. I think the case is fairly unique, and I just mentioned that this lugs pretty cool, right? That's supposed to be inspired by the mandible of the ant. Okay, so unique symmetrical design, down to the middle position date, as well as that jewel lugs, which make it look like a bit of, almost like ears there. Pretty cool. Well finished, right? The matte finishing, I really quite like how they've done it. It's nicely finished, and it's got overall a cool techno organic styling. I think particularly the dial, how it kind of raises in a convex thing, almost like a part of an animal, I want to think. Right, okay quality. I think overall, the overall quality and feel is fine. For 400 USD, this is kind of on par with other brands out there, especially, on that Kickstarter price of $399. I think this is fine. It's got a Miyota 9000 Sapphire 200 meter water resistance and a fairly solid case. I think on KS price, reasonable. At the full MSRP, probably pushing it, and I imagine this will probably need to sell on discount, rather than full MSRP. What are the weaknesses? Well, I think few things. I think a dome sapphire would play in much nicer to the design brief of organic, rather than flat sapphire. I think they should have gone for a very light dome would be better. I think it would have been better to gone for a solid back if you want that ant artwork. Just make it a nice engravement on a solid back. That's my opinion of it, because I can hardly see that. It's actually not that easy to see, actually, to be honest, that artwork there. I think the bracelet, well, they could have taken that to another level, right? This is a slightly OEM Chinese factory feel to it. I think there's a chance that they could push some organic design to the bracelet, but I guess you got to draw your budget line somewhere. And as I mentioned, at full MSRP, this would definitely be up against stiff competition and probably need to sell on discount. That's my feeling, my prophecy on this particular model. So that's it, guys. That's my thoughts on the Biotic Formicidae. Let's flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick fire review. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Always look forward to the discussion from my viewers. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.